Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the BeLeaf Podcast. I am Ado, joined by Qasim and Talha, and it's been a busy past couple of days for the Leafs. They've made a couple of signings, they've made a couple of splashes. This pod will cover all the signings that were made and some of the signings that Bradshaw Living did not make. We will take a look at the Tanev signing, the Domi extension, the Wall extension, the Hakanpaa contract dilemma, and we'll look at the Oliver Ekman-Larsson signing. The Leafs also made a couple AHL signings, but those explain themselves as the depth signings. We really wanted to thank you for the views and the subs on the first episode. They really surpassed our expectations. We're still pretty new to this, so we'll get better and we'll hopefully keep up the content as the summer goes on and into training camp. So, boys, how are we doing today?
Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, it was an interesting couple days in Leafland. So
Yeah,
it's been
Brad
fun.
Living has reshaped himself in my eyes. I thought this man was a potential fraud. I think he might have beat the allegations though. Just want to put that out there.
We will discuss this. I certainly have some differing opinions on this, but first let's get started with we'll go in chronological order just to make this easier for ourselves.
Yeah.
We can go with the Wall extension. Joseph Wall got a 3-year extension at about $3.6 million. This buys 2 years of UFA rights, and it also buys an RFA year. So what do we think of the Joseph Wall extension? I know there are some differing opinions on it. I listened to the Athletic podcast, and they didn't seem to like it. They thought it was a bit early.
Really?
He's only made 38 starts in the league. He's injury prone. They wanted to see more out of him. What do you guys think about the signing? Like, do you think the Leafs went too early on it? Do you think the Leafs are trying to finally make these gamble signings, these risk signings that they don't really do? Or do you guys think Bradshaw Living jumped the gun a bit?
Honestly, I was thinking about it. I think he jumped the gun.
Ooh.
Yeah, my opinion on it has changed. Listen, I love Joseph Wall. I think if healthy, he's gonna be the Leafs 1G for the next 10 years, ideally. But when we're looking at it, well, what's the best case scenario for him next year? You know, he plays 45, 50 games as a 1G role. Well, what is he gonna get after that? You know, like if we're looking at his contract, maybe he gets 4 million, right? Like that's what I'm thinking. Maybe he gets 4 plus. So to give him 3.6 with a lot of question marks, I think he could have just waited and just done this next summer. Of course, you do run the risk if he has a good year, the media hype train goes 5 plus, 6 plus, and his price goes up there, but I think that there's a lot of question marks, so I probably would have waited. I think he's not the guy you jump the gun on. I think the guy you jump the gun on is someone like Nyes. That's a guy you deal with now. But
Yeah, as time has really gone on, I have started to move towards this viewpoint. At first, I thought it was good. I really thought finally the Leafs are taking some risks. Like other teams have these contracts where you look at, wow, how did this guy get signed for this much? And then you look at the contract and they signed him while his value was low. And the team thought they could get value out of him while he was growing into the contract. When I look at Wall, I see a goalie that has a talent. We're well beyond the point of questioning his talent. The availability is really a problem for me. It's been a consistent theme in his career that he's gotten injured a lot. And if anyone listened to Bradshaw Living's media day on July 1st, he talked about this issue with Wall, and he said it just really came down to luck for them. They didn't find anything with his preparation. They think he's a well-conditioned athlete. So
isn't that more scary though?
That is scary. That's the problem. If
That's
it's really not anything to do with him and it's just due to luck, we're really teetering on the edges here.
Yeah.
You're basically praying, hey, listen, hopefully this cursed guy does not get injured all the time. And I don't know. I don't like blaming injuries on athletes. I don't think it's their fault. I think the Leafs jumped the gun a bit here. The only way I could have seen Joseph Wall getting a massive, massive contract next year was if he put up Vesna caliber numbers. Like we're talking like 925, 927. That's what get paid, right? No one really looks like goal saved above expected. But I think like a 927, like 35 wins, I think that's what gets him paid. I think if he had a season like this one without injuries, where he was like a 918 goalie, 919 goalie, I mean, Samsonov got what 3.55 in arbitration. I mean,
Yep.
that's kind of what we're looking at there. So I think the Leafs did jump the gun a bit, but the Leafs have talked about many times, especially Brad Living, that the guy has enormous potential. So it's a wait and see situation for me, especially with the goalie that they signed in free agency, who we'll get to soon. It's a bet. And you know what? I'm okay with them making bets. If they want to make bets for a front office that has been very conservative in these kind of contracts, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it, although I'm shifting towards a viewpoint of maybe they jumped the gun on the extension a bit.
Well, in my opinion, I didn't know this was gonna be a topic because there's no question that you signed Joseph Woll to a contract extension. The guy has proved himself in the playoffs that he can be a legitimate superstar goalie. He is top 10 in the league in terms of
He's
talent
played
and
like 4 playoff games.
4
Yeah,
playoff games. Two, he's had a 970 in games 5 and 6 under constant pressure.
And then he
Now,
got hurt a minute later into game 6. Like this.
listen, he got hurt on a fluke play. Okay, I think it was the goal by a Geeky or whatever. And like you could tell, he kind of did hurt himself because he stretched crazy on that. I think that was a decision that he probably should not have made. I think that wasn't like I don't think that was due to like him just getting a fluke injury. I think he needs to start making conscious decisions on what to go for and what to not. Stopping that puck with 0.5 seconds left on the clock, like that's on him in my opinion. So it was a fluky random injury, and I'm sure they'll address it as Brad Fielding said in the season-ending presser. But 3.6 times 3, I mean it's not much, man. For a goalie who, by all questions, carried the Leafs in the playoffs, I mean, it's perfectly fine in my eyes. Is it a bit risky? Yes, of course. But what deal isn't risky, guys? Like, let's look at the deals Brad Fielding signed this offseason. You can't tell me 100% that each deal is completely like zero risk free.
That's the
No.
problem with Brad Living. Like that's just in a bit.
Okay,
I mean,
look around the league.
Look,
Every deal has
yeah.
a degree of risk to it. I mean,
No, I mean like the Jay Gensel deal, like where's the risk? That's the elite star you're signing. Then I mean, okay, maybe it's semantics. I'm just putting up semantics here, but the point you were making about Brad Living like addressing it, they did address it. They said they looked at his injury history and they just felt it came down to luck and not preparation. So I mean, they just came out and said like, "Hey,
didn't they
the guy's
say
just
that?
unlucky."
I thought there was. Didn't he say that they need to like look at his training and make
Yeah. So they
adjustments?
said that after the playoffs, right? And
Yeah.
then July 1st, Brad Living answered the question. He was like, "Nah, there's nothing wrong with this preparation. It just came down to luck."
Well then, if it came down to luck, it came down to luck, and the Leafs were unlucky. But let me tell you something. Locking in a goalie of Joseph Wall's caliber is it's fine. Like, listen, number one, the cap is going up, okay? Number two, we're not talking about a bad player here. This guy is very, very, very good. Okay. This guy is probably, in terms of talent, the best goalie we've seen in our lives, at least. Okay. He's better than Freddie, better than Campbell, better than Reimer, and whatever bums are in there. Okay.
You don't mess with Eric Schalger like that.
Oh my God. Don't get me started on that midget.
I
But
don't think anyone doubts Wool's talent though. It's just, is he gonna stay healthy?
I mean,
That's the part where everyone's concerned. And when
that's
he's
a risk.
healthy, he's a 915, 920 kind of guy who's gonna be a 1G in the league. It's
That's
just,
a
is he
risk
gonna
you
play?
take, in my opinion. That's just a risk you take. Did Tree Living maybe jump the gun a bit? Perhaps, but it also shows that he truly believes in Wall and like he wants like to tell Wall that he's their guy. And like going
Yeah.
into the crucial year next season, you probably want like, the contract off Joseph Wall's mind, right? So that's just how I see it. I think goaltending is very voodoo. But Joseph Wall, he's been like that one constant in terms of talent. So risky, yeah. Worth it? In my opinion, yes. I would do it 100 times out of 100.
Right. I mean, yeah, I mean, I see both viewpoints very obviously. When the extension first came out, I was pretty happy. But as time has gone on, I was like, maybe like you could have waited a year. I mean, like he started 38 games in the league. Um, there's some injury stuff you could worry about there, but I mostly I agree with you on the points you made. Yeah, I think that's a good segue into the second extension. The worst 10 minutes of my life, maybe after that Friedman tweet came out.
Uh,
Max Domi was signed to a
Let's go.
3.75 times
we
4
win.
extension.
We
What a
win.
deal.
I very soon deleted Twitter after. Bradshaw Living belongs on my now. What do you guys think of this extension? We'll get into my thoughts soon. I know I'm the resident Domi hater here, but what do you guys think of this extension? This extension takes him to his age 33 season, I believe. And one constant has been that Domi's always wanted to be here. So
Yes.
yeah, what do you guys think of this extension?
Hey, listen, I think like almost every single Leaf fan in the fan base, except for the one in this podcast, most people are happy that he's re-signed.
Very
You know?
true.
People are happy for the wrong reason, is my point. Okay. Here's I call it the Max Domi conundrum. Basically, I think people view Max. They try to paint him like his father. Like his father, like an icon here, right? Like Domi. So people like kind of like put him into the same light, and not the same expectation, but I think it's just the embodiment of what Domi was in Toronto is how people see Max Domi, and like when people say like Max Domi needs to retire a Leaf, you can't let Max Domi walk for nothing. Max Domi can't walk. It's just I think people forget who the player is, what the player does on the ice, and they focus more on like passion, like grit, or like intangibles. And I don't
Those are
think
good
those are.
qualities to
I don't think those
That's
are
how we need
nothing.
those.
I don't think those are nothing. I just think when you're talking about a player, I think the on ice impact is more important than if the guy like puts a hype video up on Instagram.
I mean,
That-
he's only making 3.75, right? Like in a rising cap, this isn't going to be a terrible deal. The Leafs need secondary producers behind the core four. This is the guy who'll get you 40, 50 points a year. He'll be able to play with Matthews. So if you want to switch it up and don't get Marner there, you still have an elite passer beside Austin. You have a guy who plays center in a pinch if Tavares and Matthews are hurt, which realistically it's gonna happen sometime these next couple of years, right? Guys don't stay healthy the whole time. And so if he's not here, who's your 2C when you get injured? Pontus Holmberg? Like, you
Big
know?
Pond, respect Big Pond.
But I mean, I think, okay, you're talking about the fact that he loves Toronto. I don't think that's something that's underrated here. I mean, it is something that's underrated because, like, what we're seeing is more common is players don't want to come to Canada.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we saw with Matt Roy. So you got a guy who is a decent fit, who's got some talent, and he wants to be here. You got to lock him up.
Eh,
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Talha completely. Does Domi require very specialized usage? Yes, he does. But we found two spots that work for him, okay? Next to Matthews' wing, and maybe as a potential stopgap C next to Marner and perhaps Nyes. Those two spots are where he belongs. I think last year we spent way too much time running that Bertuzzi, Domi, Nylander line, or I
also a
think
waste of time. For such a
yeah,
long time, not a waste of time.
yeah, I agree. We also ran, I think, Cam Fanise and Domi, I think, in the beginning. Like,
Robertson, Domi, Young Croak was a big one
yeah,
too there for a
yeah,
bit.
yeah. I mean, I think part of the Domi, like, not hate, but like misunderstanding Domi. It comes from the fact, like for probably 60 games, we were trying to figure out where the guy works, okay? And around game 70 and even the playoffs, we finally found where he works. And I think that's just the guy you keep. You know where he works, you know how he fits into this team. And at a certain point, you gotta keep some of these guys. Like, I'm tired of this revolving door of depth players behind the core four every single year. So, Domi, my opinion, maybe a bit rich. Okay, I had him at 3.5, 3.2 to 3.5, but I'm not gonna like sweat over it.
Yeah.
The term, in my opinion, is perfect. Like, I'm surprised he didn't get 5 years. Okay, 4 years is very good in my opinion. And I think he said it takes him to his age 33 season. And I think Domi's game will age pretty well. Um, yeah, in addition to that passion, I mean, the Toronto Maple Leafs have a very, very passionate fan base, and Domi is kind of the embodiment of that on the ice. He is like a Leafs fan yeah, he is a Leafs fan, and he's playing out there living his dreams. And Domi's obviously doing something right with his fan base. Not all Toronto boys get love here. We can see that with a certain right winger making $10.9 million right now. So having said that, Domi, in my opinion, great fit. You know where he works. You gotta keep. And also underrated thing. I think they were going for Bert before Domi. I think the number one option was Bert, but he wanted too much term or too much money, one of those two. So they pivoted to Domi. So I think there is a degree of caution that the Leafs staff have with Domi, which is why they prioritize Bert over him. But in the end, I think they made, I don't know if I'd say the right decision, but an understandable decision in my opinion. So let's see how it goes.
What did Burke get again? 4.75 times 5?
No, 5.5 times 4.
Oh,
That's a crazy deal, I'm not gonna lie. That's
yeah, I
gonna,
wouldn't do it.
That was
yeah,
Chicago. Like they have like billions to spend.
Yeah.
that's true.
Um, my thoughts on Max Domi are very online, and they are reviewable for the public. I spent a lot of time last podcast discussing why I don't like the fit on this team. I think Max Domi can work on a team. I just don't know about this one. But the extension is what it is. It happened. It's 4 years, 3.75. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. I don't love the player. I don't really love the fit here either. I can see why people would love the fit, but like, I don't know. It is what it is basically.
It's not a perfect fit,
So
but I
with
think it's a good enough fit.
Yeah. I mean, the contract is interesting. I wanted 3.5x3, so he goes a bit above on both ends. I can live with 3.75, but I would have liked to keep it at 3 years and not give him 4.
yeah, man, they got a big theme with the Leafs in this free agency was they got hosed on AAV and term.
Yeah.
Like we'll get into that. So yeah, Domi extended, Wall extended. Those were the 2 extensions. Actually, no, there was one more.
Hey, I was
The
gonna say.
Murdog, the big dog,
Oh, I
Murdog.
forgot about it.
The big dog was extended. Did not play all of last year with bilateral hip surgery. Presumably the 3G. They will probably. I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know what they're gonna run because the AHL is pretty maxed out with I think Pexa, Pavelin, and Hildeby. Those are the 3 AHL goalies they have right now.
He'll probably
Um,
just play once in a while.
I think
We'll have to
Pexa
see.
and Pavelin are ECHL bound. They got a new affiliate today. I think Cincinnati,
Yeah,
something.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pavelin deserves like an AHL role, so I don't know what's gonna happen there. I
Yeah.
don't know if they didn't release if the Murray contract was a 2-way or a 1-way, so I don't know.
It's one way.
It's 1-way. Okay, so he has to go
Yeah.
through waivers then.
I don't think
Well,
it
he's gonna
matters
start the
anyways.
season in the minors. Yeah.
Yeah. Like one way or 2-way as
presumably they carried 3 goalies then, right?
no, I think he goes to the AHL regardless.
The
He
Leafs
should,
carry 3? Wait,
I don't know, man. Like,
are we saying the Leafs carry 3? Because there's no shot the Leafs are
Yeah,
carrying Matthew
zero
Murray.
chance. Yeah, I mean, who's gonna claim Matt Murray? Let's be realistic here. I mean,
For real, exactly.
Martin Jones is still out there. Like, if you want a goalie, go sign Martin Jones.
hey, Martin Jones is bad. That's the first thing.
What's Matt Murray, man? He had like an
Matt-
850 in the
do not.
AHL.
Please.
Matt
Please
Murray
do
doesn't
not
have a
forget.
glove hand.
Please do not forget November 2022 to
Oh
January
my
2023, Matt
God.
Murray. Please do not forget the cup contending goaltending we watched during that run. Now, I like this signing. I think it's a good thing they signed him. I really like the fact that they spent 6 months rehabbing him and then they didn't let him walk for like nothing. That would have been a waste of time. So he's a 3G. I mean, he'll play once in a while. I anticipate him maybe get like 7 to 10 games this year, depending on goalie health. But I like this signing. Like, good job, Brad. Nice 3G option. They kept him around. He's a serviceable goalie.
This is too much Matt Murray discussion.
That's what I was gonna say.
We've gone into too much Matt Murray discussion.
Yeah, I do not care enough about Matt Murray right now, but just for the sake of it,
Wish him
Respect.
well.
goalie,
Wish him
you
well.
yeah.
3G.
Please
That's
look
it.
up those Dallas 2022 games.
What, that 5-on-3 with Sandin and
That
Liljegren out
5
there?
Yeah. Oh right, Liljegren. We almost forgot about him.
Liljegren did get extended too.
Oh,
Listen,
yeah,
I was
like
going
during the-
crazy. I was going crazy in that chat up until the QO deadline. I was
Oh
like, if
yes.
this buffoon does not qualify Liljegren.
Because there's a
So-
lot of rumors out there, eh? A lot of
Yeah,
people were
from
throwing it out there that it's
Myrtle
not
and
confirmed.
Siegel, yeah.
Yeah.
It was so like
So-
cryptic too, because the day before Brad Fielding said, "Oh, just there'll be something out there on the Liljegren soon." So I don't know. I genuinely thought he'd walk for nothing, which would be a
So I guess
horrendous
it was the
waste.
contract. I guess it was the contract. Like maybe they had it done early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for anyone that missed it, Timothy Liljegren signed $3 million times 2. He is a UFA after those 2 years. I'm a huge Liljegren fan personally. I think the biggest criticism I have of Keefe is that he's not very good with young players. We'll discuss Nick Robertson in a bit, and let's discuss Sandin too. Sandin never got a real opportunity.
The brother stinks.
Yeah, I'm not a Sandin fan. I like Liljegren over Sandin.
I think part of it is due to the fact that Sandin never. The thing I have with young players is with the young players in the NHL, you got to give them some leeway to make mistakes. And the thing with Keefe is he would give a young player an opportunity. Predictably, the young player would make a mistake, and then it vanished. That's it. You're never playing in that role again. So with Liljegren, I think there's still potential. There's still hope. Before the high ankle sprain, he was playing like a top 2 defenseman on this team. He was carrying them for a while. And then the high ankle sprain happened. Didn't really look comfortable. And then he had that extended run on the power play where he had like 15 points in 16 games. And then they never tried him on the power play again. Never forget that. They just abandoned that. So
Sheldon Keefe, man, what a guy.
So I think with Liljegren, Myrtle was talking about it, that the plan was not to keep him. The plan only came around to extend him once they figured out they struck out on some of the UFAs. So
As they should.
I'm still not 100% sure they keep him around, but I think after this, after what's happened in free agency, what's transpired, they'll keep him. I think this year is his real last shot because then next year he only has a year left on his contract, and then they can just trade him. So, yeah, Timothy Liljegren will probably be in the top 4 to start this year with McCabe. And personally, I'm a fan of the extension. I think if they give him proper usage, proper time, I think he'll reward them. And no high ankle sprain, I think he'll give them something that they need. It was always ridiculous that they would get rid of him, like for nothing.
Yeah.
A right-handed defenseman that's 25 that's shown promise. It was always never understood people, and there's still people that are trying to say like, don't For sure, man. They'll trade him when the next man up is Connor Timmins.
Oh man, he's gone by the way. I don't care.
I don't know. I don't know what he's still doing on the team.
Me neither, man. I don't know what Brad's cooking, but yeah, Timothy Logan 3x2.
I mean,
Unnoteworthy signing, but
solid player. I don't know what he did to get 3 million.
Same.
I feel like that's a bit rich.
So Myrtle was talking about this. Myrtle and Siegel were talking about this, and CJ discussed it a bit too. The Leafs were afraid that his ARB number would come higher than that. There were some rumors that he would get a lot of money in arbitration.
Yeah, but my question is, how? What is the ARB? What is he like arguing to arbitration to get over 3?
There is none.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question, man. That's what was coming out from the insiders, is that they were really scared of his arbitration number.
I think it's just a bluff from Milligren's camp that worked out. I mean, let's look at Ilya Samsonov last year. He asked for what, $4.9 million, right? And he got something like 3.55. And Ilya Samsonov was coming off a playoff series victory where, by all accounts, he carried the Leafs in Game 6. He got him their first win in like 18 years. And honestly, I don't think he was that bad against Florida, although there were some stinky goals, to say the least. But I think arbitration, it's pretty simple how it goes. Like, a player makes his ass, team makes their ass known or their contract known. They meet in the middle. That's how it always goes, all right? So this 3 million like number, I have no clue where it came from, but in my opinion, there was zero chance he was getting that in arbitration because number one, although I don't agree with this decision made by Keefe on this, but he was scratched in the playoffs every single year, at least one game. Okay.
I think that was Keith's fault, though, man. Like,
yeah, I was gonna talk about that later.
I'm sure the Dallas Stars regret playing Thomas Harley and Wyatt Johnson in playoff games so much.
I mean, guys, he kind of stunk this year. Like, he had the worst expected goals for numbers.
Playing with Joel Edmondson, I will never forgive Joel Edmondson. I will never forgive Joel Edmondson. Please play him with someone that can move the puck.
Or Edmondson's numbers
he's supposed to be moving
him.
the puck.
Yeah. Let me pull up.
I will not hear Joel Edmondson.
All right, Lilligren. I mean, yeah, okay. So arbitration aside, I think that was a complete bluff, and there's zero world where you get $3 million. He was not good enough.
Though, then, right? Because they were ready to trade him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
they only signed him when they were out on Matt Roy.
Realistically, he's gonna outplay it. Like, I think he'll outplay the value, but
it really depends where he plays. Right? If he plays with McCabe, I think we're in for some cooking. If he's playing with Benoit, I can see some of the struggles he had with Edmonton rearing again, because he needs to play with someone that can also move the puck.
In the playoffs, the 2 worst defensive pairs were Liljegren pairs.
Ooh.
Riley Liljegren had an 18.5 expected goals for.
When did they play Riley Liljegren together?
In like the ozone draws,
ozone playoffs, and somehow every time they'd end up getting buried. And then Edmondson Lily, 73 minutes, 37 expected goals for. He got caged.
I hate Joel Edmondson. I mean, I hate Joel Edmondson. That was the worst trade deadline acquisition of all time in Leafs history, maybe.
Hey! For all that, he got 3.8.
Insane.
Let's talk about UFA prices really quick. I hate to deter off a little bit.
Yeah,
that was insane.
Yeah, I don't know what LA's doing there.
3.3 times 3.
Matt Dumba got what, 3.8 times 2? That's insane.
Yeah. Whatever you do not go on daily faceoff and do not go check the Dallas Stars defensive pairs.
Dallas destroyed their defense in one day.
It was terrible.
If you ever have kids, make sure they're right-handed, make sure they play defense, and they'll be in the NHL for their entire lives. I guarantee you.
Also make sure they put the Leafs in a contract year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Each time Lyubushkin was on the Leafs, in the free agency afterwards, he got $3 million.
That's insane. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean.
So like the Harley Haskinen pairing that I keep seeing is like the Lambo underneath the shitty house.
Yeah.
And then you have I think it was SL Lindell and Ilya Lyubushkin. And then
oh lord.
And
Oh.
then it was who else did they sign?
Dumba. And then I don't know who the
Let
3LD
me pull up.
is.
Let me pull up their lines really quick.
I have it saved on my phone.
Brendan Smith.
Oh my god.
God. Get a nail, man. Fraud
Guys,
watch?
Sorry. Bro,
that
in the
defensive-
their backup walk too, Scott Wedgwood, he went to Nashville.
Yeah,
And they
I mean, they
signed
got Casey
who they
DeSmith
signed?
though.
Oh,
They
that's
got
fine.
DeSmith. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't want to do anything with Smith, that domestic abuser. Do not look up what he did in college.
Okay, going back to Liljegren, this is my quick thoughts on him. Started off the year very well until Brad Marchand took him out. I mean,
And then Ryan
he's-
Reeves notably did nothing.
yeah, actually John Klingberg did more than Ryan Reeves. That's
That
insane.
was John Klingberg's highlight. Actually, no, that pass to Nylander where I thought he was going to have like 100 assists this year.
Yeah, that's insane
Now,
too. But Liljegren, I mean, he said it himself. He thought he took strides in his defensive and offensive game, but he felt that injuries kind of derailed everything for him.
I sent that
And-
in the chat.
Yeah,
I watched his interview. He said injury.
Yeah.
It really felt like the two injuries he had derailed him this year. So
yeah. What was his other
Brain-
injury? His high ankle sprain and what?
it was. I think it was. They never released it. They just said lower body.
Oh, was it
lower
the
body.
was it yeah, was it the final like 2 weeks of the season?
Yeah. The final 2 weeks where it
Oh.
didn't show up until like game 80.
Oh man, I forgot about that. But yeah, I mean that could explain his playoff struggles too. Maybe he was playing a bit hurt. So Liljegren, as is with everyone on this core, it seems like they're getting another chance. So let's hope Liljegren makes the best of it. I mean, I'm a Liljegren fan.
I am a Liljegren fan too.
When we got him in 2017, I thought we were getting an absolute stud at 17. He changed his game. He was like, well, he's pretty offensively minded in Sweden, right? And then here
And then he changed
became
it to
pretty.
defensive.
Yeah, I mean, he's shown like the mindset, the ability to like change his game to accommodate the team, and I really like that. So I really hope it works out. But
Really need to do it again this year with the power play. If he can
Actually,
be
I think
power play
it's-
one,
I think
I
he's
think
not
so.
playing power play.
It's
Yeah.
it's OEL and Riley.
Yeah. We'll get
Oh
to
my
OEL
God.
in the next after the break, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think Liljegren, he's only played under one coach in North America, guys. So we're actually going to see what he does with another coach. Like his overall, he's been with Keefe in the minors. There's maybe like a year where Keefe
Yeah.
came up and he was still down there.
Yeah.
But we're going to see how he does under Berube. I'd start him with McCabe on the
Same.
second pair.
I would too.
I think they'll do well. I don't know.
Yeah.
His playoff performances,
Okay, so
Maybe
let me
they
just
could
talk
even
about this. A lot of people bring up the fact that, oh, he's always been scratched in the playoffs, and that shows why he's not ready. Okay, number one, these same people, they ridicule Sheldon Keefe for his lineup decision. So, I sense a double standard here. We're criticizing Sheldon Keefe for his dumb lineup decisions, but somehow we're using the same lineup decisions to justify our feelings about Liljegren. I don't get that, number one. There is absolute zero world where Justin Hall should have been playing over Liljegren in 2022 and 2023. There's no world.
I agree.
Down the stretch in 2022, Giordano, Liljegren, I think they were one of the best pairings in the entire league. So
They were.
yeah, I have no clue why he was taken out for Hall. That was a giant miss in my opinion. Yeah, Sheldon Keefe, questionable decisions. I think Liljegren, if anything, is a victim of Sheldon Keefe's ineptitude. These lineup decisions were downright baffling. And yeah, I mean, I
If I
think
can
we
add
should give
something to that,
yeah, go for it.
I think a big problem in this market is that they never. I think it also extends to management because they're afraid of young players getting a shot. Of young players making the big mistake. When we have our young players in, and then you hear all over the media, oh, then you get a veteran for that spot. Then you get someone who makes the safe plays, someone who makes the right plays, and then eventually our young players get pushed out of the lineup. It signifies something. I don't think it signifies anything good. I mean, look at teams all over the league. They play their young player. I just saw Dallas play Logan Stankoven in the playoffs, and he played a huge role. I'm not saying
Yeah.
Liljegren is anywhere near a caliber of a Logan Stankoven or anywhere near of a Wyatt Johnston or a Thomas Harley or a Mason Lohrei, but
I mean, he
you
should be a
gotta
Mason Lohrei, boys.
You gotta give him chances. I
you gotta
mean,
give him chances. Like this is the first
that's
year
what
he was
Aldo's
given.
saying. Yeah.
This is
I
the
agree.
first year he's been given a chance, and he played with Joel Edmondson.
I mean, okay. His season went off the rails with the injury. I think the hope is he's the guy who we saw in October and November.
Yeah.
Please, I'm praying, man. That's the top two defensemen.
I mean, he looked really well. It's just as long as he stays healthy, his production this year is actually pretty incredible, eh? 23 points in 55 games.
It was a lot of it came from when he was cooking on the power play. Remember they had
Yeah.
that 50% month. He was PP1.
Yes, and Riley was suspending during that time, right?
Oh man,
What a great time that was.
It brings me back to the point about Sheldon Keefe. I mean, very
He's
passionate
scared to
coach.
give young players opportunity.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
Before
very
we go
questionable
really
lineup
quickly,
decisions.
Before we go really quickly, we should address Nick Robertson's trade request. So for anyone that has been living under a rock, Nick Robertson requested a trade.
As he should, by the way,
that.
as he should.
So,
I mean,
based on all indications, James Myrtle, Jonas Siegel, I think even Elliot Friedman reported that the Leafs probably just going to keep him. So tell him, hey, we have some major spots open on the left wing this year. So you'll get ice time, you'll get opportunity. Just stay patient. But I can understand why the guy wants to trade. The coach that has been coaching him scratches him routinely for Ryan Reeves.
Yeah. I mean, both sides make sense. You get why he's asking for a trade, and you get why the Leafs are saying, no, we're going to keep you around and we'll give you a chance here.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Hopefully he does well under Berube.
Yeah, we'll expand a bit more on this when we come back. So see you guys in about, well, we'll see this in less than a second. So see you guys then. Bye.
Welcome back, everyone. As we were talking about, we were discussing Nick Robertson's trade request. I think a good example of being patient with the player is Jake DeBrusk. If anyone remembers, Jake DeBrusk in his RFA years just kept asking for trade after trade after trade. And it was pretty much the same thing. Jake DeBrusk didn't feel like the Bruins organization was valuing him. They felt like they didn't give him opportunity. I think DeBrusk was also like not a huge fan of Bruce Cassidy while he was coaching there. So there was some friction there. But I think with Nick Robertson, you gotta stay patient, man. What are they gonna get on the open market for him? Like a third?
Nothing much, yeah.
I mean, we need cheap scoring here. He's a guy who can probably pot you 15 to 20. So
scored 14 this year with 11 minutes and no power play time.
Yeah, you need to keep that guy, especially with the cap constraints that the Leafs have this year, with 4 guys making 11.
Yeah, I mean,
and David Kampf, Ryan Reeves combining for 4 mil.
Oh, insane by the way.
Yeah.
Nick
Connor
Robertson
Simmons makes 1.1 too to not play.
That's a dream, huh? 1.1 million to play a few games, then get hurt, then rehab, like it's rinse repeat with that guy. But anyway, Nick Robertson, good hockey player. Understandable why you requested a trade. If I was in issues, I'd requested a trade like a year ago.
Well, hopefully he signs though, right? Because he said he wasn't going to sign.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at the Leafs depth chart right now, it's pretty obvious. We kind of suck on left wing. Yeah, there's a spot for him, right? Yeah. Prime time, maybe next to Matthews even or Tavares or whoever our 3C is.
I think there's gonna be Nyes and McMahon, the top 2 left wingers.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean,
unless you run Domi at 2C and Tavares at 3C. I don't know.
Yuck.
We can debate the lines, but I'd want Domi with Matthews, to be honest. I'd want Marner with Robertson and someone.
Good point, but apparently Craig Berube might be a Matthews Marner guy.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, Lord.
I'm not a fan. Not a fan of Craig.
So yeah, Nick Robertson, good hockey player. Hopefully he stays. I mean,
Please stay, brother. We have no one else.
I think everyone here sees the value in him. Even
Yeah.
Brad Treliving. It was just one man who didn't see the value in him for some reason.
And now he's probably gonna coach a president's team in
Yeah,
Jersey.
if you're a young player in New Jersey right now, I feel horrible for you. So
Probably why they traded Holtz, to be honest.
yeah, they were gonna play. I mean, zero chance. The guy sucks defensively. He just has an elite shot like Nick Robertson, but that's it. So
All right. Can I defend Sheldon Keefe for a minute here?
yes, let's hear the defense.
I think the main issue was where were you gonna play the kid? You know, because who was the left wingers? They had Nyes and Bertuzzi as your top two wingers, right?
It felt like they rushed Bertuzzi on the first line last year. I'm not Bertuzzi. I'm sorry, Nyes.
They did.
He
They
was
Yeah.
not
definitely did.
ready. He was not ready for first line time at all.
So maybe
Yeah.
you throw Robertson on the second line instead of Nyes. But like
I think ideally, if I was gonna do it, I would have had Nyes on the fourth line, and I would have had Robertson on the third line, and then I would have had a competent third line center beside them. But can't have what we want. We
But then
just we gotta run with Pontus Holmberg,
who plays
um,
second line wing?
McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was after like game 60 or something. So
Yeah.
revolving door. I mean, Nick Robertson with very minimal ice time put up 14 goals, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
On an ELC contract. That's so rare for a hockey player. Obviously, there's concerns about, his overall game, like his forechecking, how he is on the puck, etc., etc. But I
I like
think
that Al Arbor quote. Al Arbor had a quote. I can teach a player to forecheck and I can teach a player defense, but I can't teach them how to score goals. Nick Robertson does that really well.
very
Yep.
good point. Yeah.
All right, let's
So
get into the big signing of the day.
yeah,
All right. Before we talk about any of the other signings, the Leafs made a signing which has been very strange, to be quite frank. The Leafs signed Jani Hakanpaa to a 2-year, 1.5 contract. And now Hakanpaa's contract has officially now been registered with the league. So no wonder there has been no post about it. There hasn't
is
been
this
any.
per your sources?
I don't have any sources. I just saw this on Twitter, man.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you can check if contracts have been registered with the league or not.
That's
So
interesting.
he's not on their active roster right now. So what's going on with Jani Hakanpaa? Is he a real person? Is he a concept fiction? This would honestly, this would be a major loss because I feel like Hakanpaa would have been perfect here.
His knees are cooked. I
Yeah,
think that's what
yeah.
it is.
No, honestly, I gotta apologize to Steve Simmons. You were right.
I mean, they're probably just running through advanced medicals to see what's going on with him, seeing
Yeah.
if they can keep him or not. But
So
he's not going to be the guy maybe we see in Dallas or we saw in Dallas.
So the scoop was apparently that he had this knee injury. It took way longer than anyone expected for him to recover, and he missed the entire playoffs. He missed a bunch of the season, and then he got knee surgery. And I remember seeing that he wouldn't need knee surgery after that, but I really felt like the contract he signed. I was like, wait. This is the big tall guy that PKs and he hits. There's no way this guy is signing for 1.5 million. What's going on? And then,
That's why, yeah.
So we're in a waiting game now. Hakanpaa, honestly, I feel like he would have been a very solid addition to this blue line. He's one of the elite PKers in the NHL. 5-on-5 Dallas put him in a really tough role. They played him in the top four with Buried and Diesel and starts. I feel like it would have been a bit better on the Leafs. He wouldn't have so much defensive pressure on him. And he would have had a puck mover with him in Ekman Larson. So hopefully this gets resolved. I mean, listen, I've been very critical of Brad Treliving, but Hakanpaa was one of the signings I was very excited about. Especially with how putrid the penalty kill was last year.
Yeah.
that kind of segues into the next wave of signings we're going to talk about. So Jani Hakanpaa, I would give the contract an A+, but I don't know if the guy's knees are hanging
That's
on by a thread or
crazy.
not.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it maybe a B.
Yeah, it's a B.
There's too much uncertainty here right now. I look
No,
at
no, no.
Yanni.
Like if the guy's healthy, I'm giving the contract an A.
I mean, if he's healthy,
I don't
he
think
doesn't
he'll
sign
ever.
for 1.5.
I don't think he'll ever be the same, honestly. Like for a
I
big
don't
guy,
know.
like you guys mentioned this, but he skated really well for a big guy, right? And considering his knee injury, he's gonna lose some of that, like skating, his agility, his edges. It's just gonna
We'll see, man.
regress a
We'll
bit.
see.
But
We'll see. This is a very interesting. Like if the Leafs don't sign the contract, like they figure out wait, this guy's knee is like a chicken leg.
I think if anything, they restructure the contract maybe to make it like variable or make it 1 year. But I think he'll be a Leaf come training camp for sure. I don't know.
Well,
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Myrtle said he couldn't figure out what was going on, but he won't be ready for training camp.
Oh my God.
He's not going to be ready for training camp. So
yeah, I guess it makes sense to then announce the signing closer to training camp. Then, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe they don't like the optics of signing a guy who won't be ready for the season. But like we've seen this before with specifically Lou Lamoriello, who technically signs all his guys on July 1st and announces it like right before training camp. Like he did that after 2021 with Kyle Palmieri, Noah Dobson, Ilya
that's not the Leafs
Sorokin.
MO though, right?
Yeah, it's not the Leaf MO, but I'm saying it's not unusual. Like we've seen it before. But Hakanpaa, I think he will be a Leaf. I don't think I've ever seen a contract not go through because of a failed physical. I mean,
Or should have happened to Klingberg, but
yeah, I was about to say that if it was gonna
Yeah.
happen, it should have happened last year when $4 million were on the line. But
I mean, didn't they have that Isaiah Thomas deal in the NBA, Kyrie Irving? It almost failed because of a physical trade.
Yeah, they were
yeah,
lying though. Isaiah Thomas lied about that.
That's crazy.
Well, he
but
didn't
there
lie about
was
his injury. No, he just lied about being healthy.
yeah, but there was the Malcolm Brogdon
Yeah.
trade to the Clippers that got called off because of a failed physical. So even in sports in
right?
general, yeah, Brogdon, yeah, to the Clippers last year. Even in the NBA, it's not that common, even though it should be, in my opinion. But let's move on
I really
to
like Hakanpaa, man. I think the player would do well here if he's healthy.
Well, let's hope he's healthy, and we don't even need him to start training camp. He comes in middle of the season, it's fine.
Yeah, we got 6.
I mean, listen. I want him to get up to NHL speed. Like,
I mean, you give him half a season, you give him decent.
Should be enough. Yeah.
Yeah. But
let's move on to Chris Tanev, but let's specifically talk about the contract because we already talked about the player himself last episode.
I think
Chris Tanev. Actually, no, go ahead though. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think Siegel, he was talking about it earlier. He had a pretty decent point. You can honestly look at the contract as 4.5x4. He's not playing those last 2 years. There's no way he's playing 41, 42 years
old. Not if that snitch Frank Saravelli has anything to say about it.
Oh my God.
The fact that he was tweeting about the NHL looking at this,
especially when the day before it came out, that Stamkos was offered 3 times 8.
Exactly, 3 times 8 at the same age.
It's just insane, yeah.
He's
Tanev,
worth the money.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do it.
It's okay. He's worth the money. I mean, he was gonna get 5+ on the market.
Yeah.
So the last couple years may look ugly, but you're hoping that for the next year or two, you get the best defensive defenseman in hockey. And I get it. He can move the puck well too. It's a good signing. I'll take it.
All right. Chris Tanev, enjoy the player, love the player. I've wanted Chris Tanev for a while. The contract. I mean, listen. First of all, I thought the idea of giving this guy more term was to get the money down, but the money ain't really down there. It's
I mean, the issue with that is though, what were other teams offering? Like, if a team's
That's the
offering
issue. Okay, so Friedman was talking about it. He heard teams might give him $6 million, but then I
Nah.
listened to Myrtle. Myrtle's like, I don't think anyone's giving him 27 million, 26 million.
I'm
I
gonna
think
be
the
honest.
Leafs. I think the Leafs really got
I'll trust Friedman.
spooked by that their volley report, and then when you bump it down to 6 years, the AAV came back up. But again, the Leafs pay a premium for AAV and term. They didn't get a discount really on both. I think Chris Tanev is a great player, but you're racing against the clock now. You really hope this guy does not fall off anytime soon. I know people like to say, "Oh, this guy's elite. His game will fall off." Like, we've seen this before, man. I watched TJ Brody go from an elite defensive. I thought this guy could play till he was 100. I watched TJ Brody go from an elite defensive defenseman to a pumpkin overnight.
Yeah.
When it goes, it goes. So the Leafs are racing against the clock now to make sure this guy does not fall off. This guy is still a number 2 defenseman beside Morgan Riley for at least, I'll give it 2 years before we started running into problems with his contract. I love the player, but signing a guy till he's 40 is a risk, and Bracho Living seems to be okay with these risks. He's one of the few GMs that's like, okay, I'll give these 30-year-old guys like pretty sizable term. So I'll give the signing a B minus. At the least, didn't really get a discount on AEV or a term, in my opinion. They get an elite player, a great player, a player they've needed for a while, a player they've missed since Prime Muzzin, although I think Prime Muzzin was better offensively.
Yeah.
I just don't think they really got a discount anywhere. They got a great player. They got the player at what I thought he would go for at the market, and they also gave him 6 years.
I mean, you
Yeah.
thought he was gonna get 4.5?
I thought he was getting 6, close to 6.
I thought he'd be 5.5 if you put it down to like 3-4 years.
It depends what the term.
How
I
much-
mean,
How much did Pesci get? 5.5, right?
5.5
5.5.
x7 or x6.
Yeah, okay, so I think 5 to 5.5 is where I'd see Tanev. I mean, he's better than Pesci, so but obviously
Yeah.
older, but better.
I don't know. I just feel like for a 6-year term, I think the AAV should have came down more.
Yeah. Well, Chris
I
Tanev,
see it.
I mean, elite
Now you're
defensive
racing.
defenseman.
You are in a race against the clock to pray this guy does not have. Imagine this guy falls off game 1 of in October.
Or cooked. I mean, the season's over.
You're stuck for the next 6 years with that contract.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the risk
even
we're giving mid-30s players 6 years. That's the risk. And I really don't mean to be a party pooper here. I don't want to rain on everyone's parade. Chris Tanev had a great playoffs. I talked about it last episode. He was a stud against McKinnon and Eichel. Against McKinnon, he gave up 1 even strength goal against. Eichel didn't score on him once.
Yeah.
wow.
We did this with TJ Brody too. TJ Brody was elite against Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point. And then October 8th
The signs were there against Florida, though, that PJ Brody was regressing, I think. Like, the forecheck broke him down. You could see he was slower in a higher fast game. He was falling behind. I feel like the Florida series kind of did expose.
I mean, yeah, but did
that.
anyone really predict the fall off that he would have in October, though? I mean, that's my point, though, is like,
Well, I
when
don't
it
mean
goes,
to flex here, but I did have him as the Leaf who
No,
regressed the most.
I don't think. Listen, I don't think anyone saw him going from being top pair to playoff scratch.
He was. I remember when Dom posted the top 20 for his offensive, defensive, and goaltending model. TJ Brody was inside the top 10 for that year. So you're in a race against the clock now. You're really hoping I think Tanev will give him 2 elite years, and then after that, all bets are off. You're like,
I think
so,
if you're tree living though, you're looking at the market. Pesci wasn't coming here. He was locked in on Jersey.
Yeah, he was locked
Roy.
into Jersey.
They wanted Roy. He wanted to go to the States.
Yeah.
The next best
I've heard
option.
conflicting stuff about that now. I've heard that the Leafs didn't want to give him It was the term or the money that the Leafs got scared off by.
Which is ridiculous because they did
Yeah.
It
it
is
to Tanev.
ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. I think Myrtle was talking about it on Leaf Report. The States thing he doesn't know about, but he heard it was the term or the AAV that got them scared.
That's insane.
Yeah, because Washington has similar taxes to here, so there's not a huge AAV difference.
I've got to do research on the tax situation, man. I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna say it's a huge factor. I'm not gonna say it's not a huge factor. I'm not educated enough on that, but my project this summer is going to be researching the tax disparity and seeing like if it's a true advantage or not. That's going to be one of my goals. But going back to Tanev, it's a B. The quality of the players they're signing is an A to A plus.
Yeah,
they are signing an elite defensive player. Contract, no discount in my opinion. No like they gave him. They gave him his retirement contract.
Yeah. Well, Chris Tanev, well, I said last episode that Brad Treliving gets his guys, and well, he got him at a crazy price, in my opinion. But to your guys' point, obviously it's a risk, but at this point, I think Treliving does feel a bit pressure to do something, because it's clear that guys don't want to come here and play anymore. I guess that might have to do with taxes.
That Marner quote really has the fans.
Yes, the Marner quote too. Yeah, the fans, media, Marner, taxes. I mean, this whole combination of reasons, right? But I think it's a risk that if we were sitting in that GM chair, I think all of us would make that decision to sign him to that contract.
I mean, me personally, I'm just giving Matt Roy whatever he wants, but
I agree. I would have paid Roy.
You know,
okay, Roy undoubtedly is my number one option, but are we sure he wanted to come here?
There's also that Sean Walker contract, man.
Okay, that's insane.
That Sean Walker contract, I think.
I don't
but
think
they're different players stylistically.
I think all of the GTA heard my knees collapsing on Walmart floor when I saw that contract.
Yeah, I mean they're different stylistically, but the Leafs have realistically needed a guy like Tanev ever since the Brody fall off. I mean, I'm okay with the deal.
Injured, really.
Yeah, even that too. Yeah, I see the hesitancy with Tanev. I mean, he is quite old, 34 years old, I think, 35 soon. This is a bet we're making on Chris Tanev that he'll be good the next 2 years, and I think that 2026 window, that's like our ultimate year to contend, in my opinion. Fresh off John Tavares not making $11 million anymore. We've got more depth now. So yes, I do think he needs to be good for that 1 year. After that, I think he's finished, if anything. But good elite defenseman. I'd sign him to that contract, even if I think it'll age very poorly. I think the Leafs we're in a position where we're stuck right now. There's no real avenue to improve this team right now other than overpaying guys, which we'll see when we talk about our next defenseman, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So let's get started on OEL, guys.
This one's a tough one.
Okay, for the record, I like it.
It's been reported that the Leafs pivoted to OEL when they figured out they were out of Sean Walker. I mean, not Sean Walker, Matt Roy, I'm sorry. And Ekman-Larsson, I talked about him on the last pod. I think there is some system-related merchantry going on over there. But I think as a number 5, if they play him as a number 5, which they should, he will be serviceable. He is a good power play option. I think he's a better passer than Morgan Riley. He's a good puck mover. I just think you got to give him soft minutes, and I think at that price point,
that's the issue.
The price is the price and the term. Brad Treliving really went all out on price and term this summer, and
I'm okay with the price, just not the term.
I mean, like, he's a $3.5 million guy.
Joe Edmondson got damn near $4 million. So
my issue with that mindset is that how you become mid is when you say, look at what XYZ did, that makes what we did
I
not
think
so
what
bad.
XYZ are doing is indicative of the market. So that's just my
That's
opinion.
fair.
I don't know.
I
I don't
mean,
know who. I don't know what was fed. I don't know what Joel Edmondson's camp fed to LA. Um, I don't know what happened there or what Labushkin. I don't actually know. Labushkin gets overpaid wherever he goes.
Matt
Um,
Dumba got severely overpaid after a brutal
what did he
season.
get
He got
3.8.
3.8 over 2 years by
in
Dallas.
Dallas?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Dallas
don't know
getting
what Jim
turned?
Nill is doing, bro. Yeah, he got turned.
What is he cooking?
Yeah, but like it
But
shows where the market is with these type of defensemen. I mean, are we gonna sit here and miss out on these type of guys?
I
I don't
think my
know.
big
Like,
issue is Sean Walker went for 3.6, man. It's like
yeah,
100K more, and he's the top four defenseman.
yeah, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Sean
Um,
Walker
I
definitely
agree.
better. Yeah,
I agree.
so honestly, I don't know if Sean Walker wanted to come to Canada or not.
I
But
mean, he's from Keswick or something. He's from Ontario.
from a small
So
town in Ontario.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's from a
I'm
small
very
town.
100%
shocked
would
Oriel
do down
wanted
to
to come
live.
back to a Canadian market.
Yeah, same.
I'm
But I think we
surprised.
I'm not
also
sure.
offered him the most, maybe.
I think
Probably
we
that
had to offer him
Oriel's
more.
agent was like, "Look at this shit, man."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Can you
if he,
believe it? A year after you got bought out, you're getting a contract that pays you in some way more. Oh my God.
I swear Florida wanted to keep him.
they offered him a contract,
Yeah, so we had to pay more. But yeah, what Otto
and
said.
then Trey said, uh, Fiegel actually asked him. He asked, why were you comfortable with long term with Beckman Larson?" He's
Yes,
like,
I know what you're talking
and
about. Yeah.
he said, to get the player, and I was confused. I'm like,
It's like, oh, well, it would have
you
been
went
nice to
long with
give.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson to get him. I mean,
Mm,
Yeah,
I
he
like
did
oh
say,
yeah,
well,
Ekman-Larsson. I think we'll see how he does in this. I won't say the derogatory term. We'll see how he does in the system under that blank Mike Van Ryn, that blank member of Mike Van Ryn.
I mean
We'll see how he does.
the
Um,
contract isn't great, right? Like we can all
the
agree
contract
probably.
sucks, but I like the idea of the player.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that the player fills a need. Really good penalty kill guy. His penalty kill numbers were solid. He's a good
That's
puck
the thing
mover.
they're really focused in on, the penalty kill and special teams. I think that's something
Yeah.
they looked at the
As they
decor this
should.
So
summer.
yeah, so the Leafs are addressing their needs here. They
Not
paid
all
a
of
bit
them.
more, paid a bit longer than I would have. So
But
it's like a
you got to
C for
convince
me.
guys to come here at this
It's a
point.
C to C plus for me. It
Yeah.
really
Really?
depends. I need to see how Ekman Larson ages. And I need to see how he plays in the 5 role. If he struggles as a 5 here, they're in big trouble.
Well, for me, it's a B minus. I get you guys concerned about his game, his age, whether he's a system merchant. Um, I think you probably deploy him the same way Florida did, very, very sheltered, minutes he can succeed in, and I think that's perfectly fine. We saw our third pair these past playoffs. I forgot who was Edmonton and Logan, right? Produce a grand total of 0 offense, so they could barely move the puck as well. I mean, OEL, he fits a legit need we have. We don't have any puck movement whatsoever.
And I think
Before,
he will be better on the power play than Riley. I know we say that
yes,
every
he
year,
will
but
be. Yeah,
I
he will
think
be.
I think he will genuinely be better.
Yeah,
He did really
I
well
sent.
on Florida's power play before Montour came back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I sent. I sent you.
he was playing top 4 minutes while Ekblad and who else was on? Montour was all right.
And he was doing good in it.
Yeah, he was very
He was
good, and then they
actually,
would put
Yeah,
him. He PK'd in the regular season for
yeah.
Florida, but he did not in the playoffs.
interesting. Yeah, I sent you guys his
And
micro stats, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good under the
that
hood. I
EVD
mean,
war looks kind of sus.
okay, yeah. I mean, at this point, we need offense from our defense, right? So I'm okay
Sure,
with
I
the
am.
trade-off. But we did, as Delha said, we did add the best defensive D-man, so hopefully it evens out. I mean, look at the entries, 92%, exits 68%. Like these are numbers I haven't seen from a Leafs defenseman other than Morgan Riley in forever. So
Jake
exit,
Muzzin in the bubble year was unreal.
Yo, exit success rate 100 percentile.
that's insane.
Ooh,
Entry denial rate, 98%. Yeah, so entry denials is actually one thing that they're looking a lot at. So when they
The
acquired
Leafs
Ilya
were really bad at
Lyubushkin,
stopping. Yeah.
yeah. So
I
Treliving
remember
said
something
himself,
we, especially
yeah,
in our chat, really focused on was how easily the Leafs gave up the blue line.
yeah.
And
And at the
Joel
deadline, they tried
Edmondson
to
did not
address
stop that
this.
at all.
Yeah, absolutely
Joel
not. But Ilya
Edmondson was really
Lyubushkin was
bad at
good at
that.
it, though.
Yeah,
Lyubushkin
Bush
was
was good at
good.
it. Bush was good at
Yeah,
it.
Labushkin
and
just could not make a puck play with his life. That was his issue.
yeah,
You
3
couldn't
RD.
ask
That's
the,
what he is.
you
So
couldn't ask the guy. You couldn't ask the guy to make like a read past like a sixth graders.
Listen, if he
yeah,
could make a pass, be a 5 mil defenseman.
And good
easily.
on the power play. Like if he's a power play merchant for us, I don't mind.
Yeah.
It's still a C plus in my opinion until I see the player in action.
Yeah, I
Me,
don't like the contract. The player's good. C.
I think the contract is indicative of where the market is going for these type of defensemen. So B minus. I mean, it's obviously Leafs are probably bidding against some very, very mid teams, and it's nice he chose us. But as we now know, Leafs have to sort of overpay a bit to get guys to play in Toronto now.
I mean, he's
And
also kind of old though, right? Like,
He's
he's
32.
32. Yeah,
yeah, like that's Tavares' age.
he's a better
So
skater than Tavares, so that's
yeah,
different
He is
players,
like he's
different
still a good
equipment.
skater.
Yeah, yeah,
so I wish he was a bit younger, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean Matt Roy was
And
29, so
yeah, and as I said before, Brad Fielding gets his guys, and he got his guy again. He wanted OEL
I mean
last year too,
the
so
interesting thing is he backed off on Zadorov
as
and then
that's good by the way.
pivoted to Matt Roy. No, it was Roy, then Zadorov, and then he didn't get Roy, and then he backed off Zadorov too and went to, so was OEL plan C?
I guess so, but I mean, he's a damn good plan C. I mean, understandably, I get why he's a plan C. So
yeah,
I mean, Matt Roy is better than him, way better than him. I don't know about
thank,
Zadorov, but I
thank
see
God
the appeal. Yeah,
they said no to Zadorov.
yeah.
I
Well, that
love the
contract
guy.
is
But of
brutal.
course he had to
He's a
go to
good.
Boston, though. Of course he had to go to Boston. I'm gonna
I don't
hate
know.
him for like the
I,
next
I
3
kind
years.
of wished, yeah, I kind of wish someone else overpaid him because we're gonna have to deal with him.
I'm
But
okay. I'm okay. They also paid that mid center in Lindholm, $8 million.
Decent player. Yeah, that's
Mid.
insane contract, but Bruins double magic, man. They're gonna work something out. You know he's gonna put up like 75 points this year while shutting down
all right,
the other team's
let's
top line.
let's get to the Leafs' best signing.
Oh yes, the best
Stolarz.
for last.
Anthony Stolarz.
That signing, incredible. I give it an
Wow.
A to A plus.
Not much to discuss here. Either athletic goalie, big goalie, should challenge well for starts. That's pretty much it. I really have nothing else besides it's a solid contract. Based on the numbers we were hearing, like
Yeah.
3.5 to 4 million.
That's what Sarah Volley said, I think.
Based on what Brossoit got, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Brossoit got 3.5. Brossoit got not 3.5. I'm sorry. Brossoit got 3.3.
Yeah.
And we got Stolarz for $800K cheaper. I'll take that any day. Those are my thoughts. Like it's a good signing. Good job, Trey.
I mean, we could talk a little bit more about this guy. I mean, I think there's some potential here with him. I think the concerns
He's like
people
30,
are saying,
man. Like I think we're past potential here.
goalies are weird. He hasn't really had a chance. He's been playing behind the established starters, and I think he mentioned that in his interview today.
He did. He knew his role in Florida. He was a backup goalie and he stuck with it. So
I think it'll be an interesting position. He's a big goalie. We have two guys who are big, good positioning. I think the goaltending is in the best spot it's been in a couple years,
for sure.
which
Probably.
it's not saying much, but I'm
Whoa. Peter Mrazek has some damn good games here.
Oh my god. Yep.
Wait, didn't we run Peter Mrazek, Jack Campbell?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That season was just Matthews and Marner being the two best players in the league from Jan 1 on.
Yeah, they had a stupid run.
Marner had like 69 points in 36 games or something.
What the heck?
And
Oh, we really wasted it on Jack Campbell, man.
we wasted on Jack. I remember Gotham was going crazy because they didn't get Fleury at the deadline.
Yeah, I didn't want Fleury badly. I did want him.
Guys,
I think
looking
I was
back on it
right
though,
in wanting him. I think I was right in wanting him.
that nice for Hagel deal is interesting.
I would not do that in retrospect.
I don't
But I
know.
think I would still acquire Fleury, maybe for a first round pick.
But
But
Hagel's a 75-point forward.
I don't know. I feel like Nyes, he's like a power forward that you kind of need. Like we don't have that guy.
Nyes is cheaper right now. Hagel is not.
Yeah,
That's the other thing. Yeah.
That's kind of what
6.5,
it
I
is.
think. Yeah,
Yeah, Nyes is
in
cheaper right now.
Tampa
Hagel is
too.
not.
Like here it'd be like
Oh yeah,
7 million,
that's like his
7.5.
8 mil contract, easy.
Yeah, easily for sure.
Hagel's holding out.
Yeah. But for myself, Stolar's A signing. I'm actually shocked he got only 2.5. I mean, a
He's
guy like Cam,
Sarah Valley had me like
yo, he's a
wondering if we were
fraud.
gonna
Oh
sign
my
like
God.
Yeah,
Sarah
we need
Valley
to
had
just ignore this guy.
Sarah
Yeah.
Valley had me
Especially
wondering
on
if
his
I
minor
had to like
takes.
he had me wondering if I had to watch if I had to get some like random ECHL defenseman to play 5D next year.
Yeah, for
Stolar's
sure.
making $4 million.
For real, man. Yeah, I don't know why like a team like Detroit didn't offer him more. Like they gave Talbot 2.5. Like Stolar's is the better option there.
Yeah, how
Eyes are
about
fraud.
Detroit, eh?
Detroit
Four
made some
goalies,
decisions.
and none of them are the 5 million goalie in Uso.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is a franchise that just exists. I don't know
They
what they're
really
doing.
do. They signed Tarasenko today. I mean, all right.
Yeah, okay. I
Like,
mean,
there's just
wow. You're gonna be battling for fifth in the Atlantic. Like, cool. Have fun.
guys. Do you know what their defensive core is right now?
Oh, it's
Let
terrible.
me.
Moritz
It,
Seider, Ben Sherratt, Justin
oh my.
Hall, Oli
Oh
Mata,
my.
Jeff
Oh my.
Petrie, Eric Gustafson.
It gets
Respect
worse as.
you got to take. You got
Okay,
to take.
I like Eric Gustafson, but everyone else, even Sider's been pretty mid, honestly. Like he hasn't
Yeah.
been
So
that good.
and then they
Yeah,
traded
Guys,
Jake Wallman for nothing.
that's great.
four of
With a
their
second round pick.
defensemen, are Sherratt, Hall, Mata, and Petrie.
My, that's
If you want
That is,
to do another fun experiment, go look up Florida's decor right now.
I trust Paul Maurice. I don't even care.
No. There are like three creative players on there.
They're not gonna
yeah.
have, yeah, they're gonna have to get a top four at the deadline, but Nate Schmidt was a good pickup.
But
It'll
he's
be
going to be the
chicken,
three
by the way.
LB.
Yeah.
Now
Oh, that
Washington
defensive,
will be better next year. Washington's trying to do that like mid contention thing.
that defensive core is ugly. Oh Lord.
It's
Yeah,
bro,
Washington.
it's bad.
Tobias Bjornfoot? Oh my God.
Wow, Leafs legend. I think the Kings picked him with
Yeah,
their
Kings picked
first
him
in
with
the
the muscle
muscle
Okay,
injury.
trade.
really quick. We're getting off track. We don't have much time left. I want to talk about the forward core and the failure of Brad Treliving to adjust this forward core. Right now, that bottom six is disgruntled Nick Robertson, Pontus Holmberg 3C, Callie Yarncroft, and the fourth line is the exact same as last year with 38-year-old geriatric Ryan Reeves. We're cooked.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is something we'll definitely go into more detail on the next podcast, talking about maybe what we want going forward for the team, but
Yeah.
they need to fix the bottom six.
As we've
It's
said
not,
for the last 5 years. I mean,
yes,
There are not much options on the UFA market. I know
they'll
some
have,
people are interested in Jack Roslovic. I mean, he was kind of like a Max Domi to me, like a tweener. Like plays the wing, but like you can like play center in like air quotes, but like just because you can do something doesn't mean you do it well. It's like saying I can cook a filet mignon, but like I can't do it well. So there's like Daniel Sprong, but like there's like defensive issues with him.
yeah, I'd avoid him.
I think here Edward Ballmore would be a good guy to look at for fourth line center. I think
yeah.
he's an interesting
Yeah.
one. Tyler Johnson somehow scored 17 goals with the ugliest analytics I've ever seen. I'm
No
not sure what to
thanks.
make of that.
I mean, I think realistically, they're gonna have to go down the trade route to get a solid 3C.
Please, I don't want to watch Ryan Reeves next year.
But yeah, I mean the core four will carry the offense.
As
Tell the
usual, yeah.
TBO, yeah.
Yeah, my take on it is it's the same thing as we've dealt with the previous 3 years. So, is it acceptable? No. Is it common? Yes. Will they make the
Yeah.
playoffs? Yes. Will they average 2 goals every single game in their playoff games? Yes.
Hold up.
I mean,
Oliver Shillington is not signed yet?
yeah,
No,
as soon as
there are some stories going around about him. Might have overplayed his hand in Calgary.
Bradtree, please.
We have 9 defensemen, man.
Oh,
we need a
I
forward.
I
Bro,
know.
We
God
have
damn
too
it.
many defensemen.
I wish we could get him. He's gonna.
Well,
We need
I
a
don't think-
forward. We need a center. We need bro. I don't think you guys understand how dire it is that Pontus Holmberg plays third line center for us.
Yeah, it's not the best. But all right, we can continue that one next time. We gotta wrap it up here, guys.
yeah.
Who is the Scott Lawton fan among us?
No shot.
Steven Lawrence move anyone?
Absolutely not.
Flyer on Elias Anderson.
No.
That's really it for me. I got no one else.
Well,
Chris Tierney.
oh
Well,
my
well.
God. We're going deep into these names. All right, well, with that being said, that concludes our second episode ever. We appreciate all of you watching and listening and even subscribing. More content will be on the way. Hopefully weekly content. And yeah, go Leafs, go.